Welcome to the Lindemann Outdoors Podcast with your hosts, Iceman and Buckshot Lindemann. We are back from Rutcation. That's Rut Vacation, if you didn't get that lingo. We're back from deer hunting, Minnesota Open Rifle Opener. We got some fun updates and a video coming out this weekend. And yeah, we're going to talk about our weekend. And we were very successful, so I think I'll let the person who shot first, Iceman, tell a story.
So I get to keep the nickname Iceman?
Yeah.
Is it because
You iced them. You iced that buck.
I did ice a buck.
Yep. There you go.
I did shoot 2 times, but I smoked him on the first shot. He was already dead, but surprised me and he was running away, so I thought I should shoot again.
Well, shoot until they die from it.
Well, that's what I say. Because the first time I shot him, he was only mostly dead.
Mostly dead.
But
well, let's lay the groundwork here. First off, the bucks were hardcore rutting this weekend.
Yeah, it was we haven't hit the rut on the rifle opener for quite a few years. So it was the first time that I've really seen the bucks chasing hard.
Yeah.
And searching and cruising and
just on the move.
Yeah, chaos.
Yeah.
Which is what you dream of.
Yeah.
I mean, when you want to hunt bucks in the rut, I mean, that's what you want is you want bucks chasing does. You want bucks cruising, looking for does. You want, that buck parade, as they call it, of one buck after another. I mean, I think opening morning I saw 6 different bucks.
Yeah.
Of course, as I was sitting there, I saw a buck and I was like, oh, yeah, he's too small. He walks over to the neighbors. Boom, they shoot him. I was like, oh. And I saw another buck. I put the scope on him. I'm like, yeah, he's too small too. And he heads over to the neighbor's woods as well. And boom, they shot him. And then we saw that little, he came by you too, that like little mutant looking fork.
Yeah, he's got one spike that's super long. And then he's got a normal 6-pointer antler.
And it kind of curves at the top.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, they shot him too.
Yeah.
So I saw 3 bucks go over there, and then I heard 3 shots, and I was like, well, we're running out of bucks here. And I'm like, geez, maybe I'm being too picky for, the amount of days that I have to hunt here. And I was like, geez, I didn't have this many bucks on camera, and now they're just dropping left and right. And then I heard the other neighbors shooting, and
yeah, there were lots of shots opening morning.
There was. And so I was like, well, maybe I just need the old saying of you're not going to pass what you'd shoot on the last day, on the first day.
Yep.
So if you see a buck on the first day that you'd shoot on the last day, then you should shoot him.
Yep.
For the most part. But this buck, as I seen him pop out, a doe had come through and she was kind of running, and then it wasn't much longer. This buck pops out and I could see, the sun was hitting his antlers. I could see he was wide. I thought he was this wide 10-point that we have.
Yep.
If you're from South Dakota or west of Minnesota, you would call him a 5x5. Because he had, 5 points in each side. He was wide as his ears. He was fairly heavy, but he had short tines. And so and this buck that I seen was wide and had short tines. So I thought, oh, this is that big one. So as soon as he popped out, he was running.
I actually saw this deer.
Yeah.
Out of my stand.
And, we're probably 400 yards apart as the crow flies.
Yep.
So, and then as this buck come, he was actually heading east, which is where the neighbors are. And I knew that for sure they would shoot him and I'm thinking all this within milliseconds, right?
Yep.
I had 2 seconds tops as he popped out and was coming down the lane and was about to head to my right or my left actually, and then head east. And then I was like, well, he looks good. I think it's this deer. I shoot the deer. I go down there, and here it's a wide 4x4. It's a wide 8-point.
Yeah.
Which later we did find a a trail camera picture of him, but I didn't recognize him right away. So I was like, what the heck? This, and he's a nice buck. I mean, I wished he had longer tines, but at the same time, he was, a nice 3-year-old buck. We only had 3 days to hunt. I didn't have all, if I had all like 2 weeks worth of work off and I could have sat there for 2 weeks, I would have probably held out for a bigger buck.
Yeah.
But I was thrilled to shoot this buck at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's not all about shooting a trophy. I mean, obviously I would like to do that every time, but I was certainly happy to shoot a nice, respectable buck. And then I was even happier to put a bunch of deer meat into my freezer.
Oh yeah.
Because yes, we like to shoot big bucks, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we're freezer fillers.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of freezer fillers, the
Yes.
deer I shot that I'll tell the story, I just ate some of those back straps tonight with my family.
How do you beat that?
They were delicious. I think it's because this deer had about, 3 inches of fat on his back for some reason. And
Well, there was a large cornfield about less than a half mile from us as the corn flies, as the crow flies through the corn. Anyway,
this deer was so tender.
Over there, I think, because I had not had a picture of that deer on camera.
Yeah. So let me lay some groundwork.
Hold on. Hold your groundwork. I'm not done. Back up. I'm still not done telling my story.
Okay.
Jeez, you need to settle down over there. So, like I was saying, we didn't realize we had pictures of this buck till we started scrolling through some and we found a picture. But it was a nice wide, probably he's almost 20 inches wide, wider in the ears.
Very wide.
Short tines, which is a genetic in that area. So really, this was a great deer to shoot out of there because we'd like the long tined versions to make it because they just, they score higher.
Yep.
But great buck to have in the freezer. It was, I haven't shot it's been a couple of years since I shot a buck with a rifle, I believe. Shot mine with a bow last year. I think the year before that, I shot one with a bow. Yeah, it's probably been about 4 years since I shot one with a rifle. So that was fun. I mean, I won't forget the way the sun was shining off his antlers. You could see the steam coming out of his nose. It was exciting and it was all over in like 4 seconds. That's what she said. But anyway.
How's it going?
Moving on. So then I actually walked down to where your stand was to wave you over to help me drag this deer. I didn't want to leave him in the tall willows and stuff because, we got coyotes around, which we'll talk about that later too.
Yep.
So we gutted this deer, drug him down to the end, down by my stand where I could look over him because, I was like, well, hey, we should get back in the stand here the way these bucks are moving and, you probably got a good chance of getting one. So I went back to my stand and enjoyed the rest of my coffee, had a little snack, just kicked back. It was great. And then about 20 minutes later, I hear a shot in your direction. So now, there, Buckshot, why don't you tell us the story of your deer?
Yeah. So I get back to my stand. I go up in there, and I'm like, first after I've seen about 5 bucks. They're all little ones that I passed,
which is a miracle.
Yep. They all got shot by the neighbors, but I passed on them.
I can't believe you passed them, actually. I was like, holy smokes.
Well, I said I'll give it Saturday, and Sunday I'll go back to my ways.
Which is a good thing we didn't. But anyway.
That's true. Anyways.
Later.
So, I get back into my stand, and I'm like, you know what? Out of all that commotion of us getting down, the deer getting shot, I'm just going to rattle, because why not? Let the deer know that there's still some bucks around. And I was thinking, this may not work, but why not? I carried the rattle and horns out there, I might as well. So I lean out my window of my nice stand, and I start rattling just for a little bit, and I get back in, and not even like 5 minutes later, I look back once one of these lanes and food plots we have is kind of a weird diagonal one that you can just kind of see a sliver of. And I look back, I'm like, oh, that's a pig. I don't even know how big the antlers are, but that deer is thick. So I'm like all excited to maybe think it's just a giant doe, which we have doe tags. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to shoot this doe. And it crosses over into our big food plot. And I pull up the scope and I'm like, oh, it's a nice little 8-pointer. Whew. I don't pass up on nice little 8-pointers. They just don't walk by me. And sadly, this deer is at about 35 yards bow range, but I have one of the best deer killing weapons on the face of the planet, which I will defend till the end of my days. The 30-06 Mossberg with silver tip bullets. Just, oh my gosh. This
Winchester ballistic silver tip.
Yeah, these things just smoke deer. He gets 35 yards, and this buck was running. So I, stopped him, put it right on his shoulder, blasted him. He ran. He did take off running because I heart shotted him, and so he had some air in his lungs still. He ran about 45 yards into the woods, dead sprint, and, call you. I'm like, yep, got him, doubled up, which it's not very often you get to double up with your dad opening morning. And plus, I owed him one to make him feel better about shooting not a monster buck, so I shot a smaller buck than him. Because
whatever.
In high school, which very cool story, prom day, most people are getting ready for prom. I'm going turkey hunting in the morning. Big Tom comes out. I shoot my first turkey with a bow, and then another Big Tom came because we had like 7 gobblers. We'll tell that story another time. Come turkey season, gobbling around us. And this one came out that had like beard rot, or another hunter shot his beard off and had like a 1-inch beard that was like shaved off.
Full fan.
Oh yeah, full big, like huge bird, bigger than my 8-inch bird body, like huge, huge, yeah. Old
big
Tom.
Fan, big spurs.
Yeah, big Tom, but just like had something wrong with his beard. So he shot that one so we could get the double. So turn the favor,
Had to get the double.
Had to get the double, of course.
You could probably find that video and put that on as well.
Yeah. So, which this video that we filmed doesn't have any kill shots, so, but it has all the commentary in before, so you see the animals. But yeah, it was a great opening weekend.
So we couldn't have the kill shots on there.
Well, we need a cameraman, and none of us want to be the one behind the camera. We want to be the one behind the bow or the gun.
We certainly don't want to be in front of it. That's for sure.
No.
That'd be bad.
But I just have to, the 30-06. I'm just going to go on a little rant here. I have shot.
Shouldn't we save this for another podcast?
No. We should, but no.
We should. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on why.
Well, this will be a little teaser to the 30-06 podcast. I've shot every buck that I've pretty much shot, except for like a couple of deer. I shot a 22-250 back in the day when I was a little guy. And every deer I've hit, this thing dies within 3 seconds, if not instantly.
Shot placement is one thing.
It's got, I'm a good shot with that. And that gun, that's the thing about that gun, is you can put bullet hole in bullet hole. Anyone can pick it up. It's not just me. That gun is dead on.
It's a very, very accurate rifle.
Many people have shot it. It's just a dead on rifle.
I think Mossberg is overlooked by people.
They are.
The quality of firearms they make. I shoot Mossberg shotguns. I love them.
They're great.
I shoot the 935 autos. Great turkey gun.
Anyways, that'll be our next podcast, talking firearms. But, which is a good reason why we did get the double, though, because Sunday we didn't see a single deer.
No, we did not.
No, so. But
what we did see, however, is some hillbilly neighbors that live by us that have the Bumpus hounds.
That's a callback to the Christmas Story for all you young people.
Well, you should go watch that this holiday season.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
They don't chain up their Bumpuses, and so we had, 3 dogs
Yeah.
in pack formation run our whole property and chase every deer off of it
Yeah.
on Sunday, which really sucked because I love spending thousands of dollars on food plots and lands and, getting land. And I know people, oh, it must be nice. Well, it took me 50 years to be able to buy a piece of property and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and flipping a couple houses and working, 16 hours a day to fix up a house and sell a house and buy another one and fix it up and sell it and actually work my way up to getting this property. Plus, saving every dime I could find to do this. And then you have somebody run, their Bumpus hounds. They live over a half mile away, so terribly irresponsible as a dog owner to let your dogs run during hunting season. And there's a lot of people that they'd have shot those dogs, but I'm not shooting somebody's dog.
No.
It's not the dog's fault. It's the owner's fault. So
train your dogs properly and
keep your dogs at home. Keep your dog on your own land.
One, keeping them safe, and two, it's just the right ethical thing to do. Be a good owner.
You can't let your dogs out there harassing wildlife. I mean, plus there's, and those dogs aren't going to make it long because they're going to run into the timber wolves eventually, and the timber wolves will eat the dogs. So.
Yeah, which everyone who lives in northern Minnesota knows that if you have a dog who likes to roam around outside,
it's going to go missing.
It's going to go missing one of those days. That's why every friend I grew up with, their dog was an inside dog, or if they had a hardcore hunting dog, they lived in the garage or something.
Yep.
At night. So take care of your dogs. But anyways, it was a great opening day. Saturday was great,
fantastic opening.
Yeah, we saw tons of deer. But
we got deer meat in the freezer.
Yep.
I don't think we could have, I certainly was, after cutting up 2 deer, and we process all our own deer. So, we skin them and we hang them and we, order them up and debone them and cut up all the meat into the cuts,
We full butcher shop them.
Yeah. If you can, you go watch the Bearded Butchers on Instagram, they do a good, video on how to break down a deer hindquarter and how to cut it to make all the different cuts, your roast, your sirloin, your mock tender, your fillets.
Like what you want to use for grinder, like where you're going to make jerky and sausage of, and
they show you a good way of doing all that. And, one of the things I like to do with the deer meat is like breakfast sausage is probably my number one thing that I make.
You are a breakfast sausage fiend.
We make maple breakfast sausage. Really hard to do. It's so good. It's lean. We mix it. It's 80% venison, 20% pork. You can go buy the LEM 5-pound packets of seasoning for maple sausage. So good. Easy to make.
Oh, yeah. If you get hardcore into it, we got this little patty maker. It's not very big at all. And you can whip out sausage patties as fast as you can go.
Yep. Freeze them up in some Ziploc bags and, you just, they don't last long enough to go bad because you eat them up, quick, lean, protein breakfast, hardly any fat in the pan when you cook it. So you see how lean it is.
Yep.
Tastes fantastic. Good for you.
We'll have to do a podcast and a video. Maybe we'll do a video podcast. That'll be our first one on Sausage Day, where we go and make all the sausage and the jerky and the meat sticks.
Yeah. One of these days we'll do that. So
that usually goes after the hunting season. That's our in-between hunting and ice fishing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we cut up, all that deer and, it cut, wrapped, processed, free in the freezer. It's all ready to go. So it's, it's a lot of work, but it's very satisfying because, you know where your meat came from.
Well, talking on that point,
how it's handled.
my fiance, who's a teacher at a school, was telling her students how much she loved the deer meat that I shot and we cooked up like days later, like the next day. And some of their kids were like, "Why would you do that?" And then she gave a very good explanation, which I'll repeat best my ability. Was, well, would you rather have like a cow gets raised up by a farmer, gets killed, and then gets put through a factory and gets touched by all these people and all these machines and put through all this processing, and they put stuff in there to make it last longer and gets put out and then trucked to a grocery store? Or would you rather shoot the deer, cut it up yourself, and put it in the freezer and then eat it that day?
Well, it's just how it's been handled. It's been
Yep.
taken care of, and if you do it right, it's the best meat on the planet. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
people that you know people that say they don't like deer meat, they haven't had it prepared properly or handled properly.
There's a million ways I've had deer meat, and they're all, if you have a good cook and they know what they're doing, some of the best meat you've ever had.
It is, you know.
Which I have a question for you because you've shot and ate more deer than I have. This deer that I shot, who was a thick boy, body wise, just had a big old butt on him, which was my favorite kind of deer. This deer was a lot more tender than the last deer I shot in the earlier season.
Mm-hmm.
This deer was super tender. Do you think it's because this thing had a lot more fat on him?
Well, there's possibility of that. He might have been a Wagyu deer. He was raised for marbling in his meat.
Which he didn't, but like, it was just like, it was, I don't know if I just like cooked it better this time, or it was just a lot more tender than the doe I killed earlier.
Yeah, it all depends upon what they've been eating.
I guess if you just been eating corn.
Age of the deer, what their diet is, the whole 9 yards there.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. So
Mm-hmm.
this one was just really good. I'm excited to have it leftovers for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, it's you don't want to overcook venison either. A lot of people,
No.
you should really make it medium rare.
Yep. That's what we did.
Well done is not good. Even over medium is not good. Um,
Yeah.
medium well is, I would, you're gonna get tougher and it's not taste as good.
Yep.
What we did forget though, Jacob,
What?
is we should have backed the story up of, because at deer camp, I think the reason we were so successful is how we kicked off the first night of deer camp, which was by watching the movie Escanaba in the Moonlight.
Say that one more time.
Escanaba in the Moonlight.
I had never seen this movie before, and it's so cheesy. It's one of the best. It's good. It's so bad. It's good.
It's along the lines of Dumb and Dumber.
You know.
In fact, it has the same actor in it. Jeff Daniels
You
is
know.
the main character.
It's about the Upper Peninsula
Of
hunting
Michigan.
hunting in the woods,
In the woods, the North Country.
the North Country. Bucks as big as Buicks.
This guy, he was 43 years old and he's never shot a buck.
You know.
He was trying every ritual he could think of.
Porcupine piss. They had elixirs. They
He had a
had,
little mojo bag from his Native American wife,
you know,
which finally did the trick for him.
this movie's great. If you're a deer hunter, or even if you're not, go watch this. This is so funny.
Such a cult classic of hunting movies. It's a must watch.
Yeah.
The best parts are how they touch on all the alien sightings
Yep,
and
in the Upper
abductions
Peninsula.
that take place up north. I mean, I don't want to say that I've seen a UFO, but
We'll have a podcast about that.
if I was hooked up to a lie detector test and they said, "Have you ever seen a UFO?" and I said no, I would fail. So we'll leave it at that. But I was not abducted.
Who aren't
I
shook
was
up to
not
shoot?
I wasn't like the Jimmers.
There's this guy in the movie who's been struck by lightning was like 14 times or
No, that's the
something.
Great Outdoors. You're getting mixed up.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's the
He
Great
was abducted by
Outdoors.
aliens.
He was abducted
And
by
come back
aliens.
and talks weird. The Jimmers,
The
as they call it. And
he got shut
talks
up to
about,
shoot. Spent a week in space.
and yeah, it's a classic. You have to watch it. We don't want to give away all the good parts. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Do not have maybe have a few drinks first if you're of age to watch it, or just be in a good, stupid sense of humor mood, because you're certainly not going to raise your IQ any by watching this. But if you want to have a good laugh at something silly, and then also put you in the mood for deer camp and deer hunting, and
It's a good one.
It's a great one. So I believe the reason we had the luck that we had is because we watched Escanaba in the Moonlight.
Escanaba in the Moonlight.
Yep. It's Escanaba in the D-A Moonlight. That is the title of the movie. It's available on Amazon Prime right now.
Yeah.
For free. Download it to your phone. Watch it in the
What's the
deer stand.
saying of that movie? It's like, if you ever get lost, go back to the beginning.
There's so many.
That's a good one.
It is. It's
Well, folks, next week's podcast is going to be on more of a debate of why the 30-06 is the best deer killing rifle in the world.
A debate. We could just point out the facts.
There's not much to debate. It's just a killer. We'll take you through the full setup, and we'll give you our reasons, and then you can come back at us with your favorite rifle to hunt deer.
Well, we'll see, because we might have another podcast, because I am taking 4 or 5 days, and I'm bow hunting in South Dakota.
That's
my
true.
South Dakota tag starting on Thursday.
Wow.
The
Good
bucks
luck,
are ready.
Iceman, and go put one in the freezer.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go, when we get done here, I'm gonna go get all my archery stuff put together, get ready to go, get the rifle stuff put away, get the bow stuff out, get ready to go hang in a tree for a few days and see if I can't put one on the ground.
That's what I like to hear. Well, to all your rifle hunters who are still out there in the tree stands, good luck and
hang tight.
Hang tight. And to all you successful, good job, and make sure you don't waste a single ounce of meat.
That's right. Fill that freezer. Fill the freezer.
Keep living in the outdoors. God bless America.
Indeed.
We're going to get better on our endings.